Joining me now is Joe Morrissey, the official Democratic nominee for the 16th District of Virginia, and he faces opposition in the fall in the form of an independent, kind of nominal. He'll win the seat, and we're live in Petersburg today. Joe, welcome.
John, thank you so much, and I'm going to comment on Dominion in the casino in just a second, but the first thing that I want to say is this. I appreciated your comments last night when all of the pundits and the experts wrote me off back in January, 4.5 months ago. You made a prediction, which you wrote down and put in your drawer. Do you remember that prediction on this Senate race?
Yes.
Yeah. You predicted I would win. That prediction was not made out of friendship or loyalty, but you went on your radio show and you're saying, I'm putting my name behind this. I'm putting my reputation behind this. Joe is going to win. And we did, John, and I'm just, listen, I'm grateful for your support and endorsement, but you're still batting about, 100% on your political predictions?
Well, the big ones, I mean, I get some wrong, but it's the big ones I get right, and those are the ones that matters. It's the 3-run homer in the bottom of the ninth, down by 2 runs. Those are the ones that people remember. They don't remember that you struck out in the second inning with 2 outs and nobody on, as I go back to my baseball days. But, Joe, stunning victory last night. And people would ask me, why do you think Joe was going to win? Like, there's no way he's going to win. Dan's got all the money. He's got all the support behind us, and there's no way. He's got all these issues going on. And I said there's a number of reasons, but let me tell you one of the key reasons, all right? Joe's got a radio show in Virginia that reaches a lot of his constituents there. And when you have a radio show and you have a talk show, and your show, Joe, by the way, it's grown leaps and bounds. I mean, it is a must-listen radio. You're going to be on today at 10 a.m., 10 to noon, WJFN 100.5 FM. You get a perspective that you can't get in any other job or form of life because you have callers, organic callers, calling you up on talk radio and telling you what's on their mind. And you can't get that anywhere else. I mean, it's like knocking on doors. You can't get that perspective from any other source. And I think your radio show on WJFN, which, by the way, everybody should know, I had to go to Joe's home and talk him into it. He didn't want to do it. And I said, you're going to be great. And he said, you're nuts.
You spent 12 months telling me to take that radio show. And I finally said, stop twisting my arm. Oh, for God's sake. I was at 6 o'clock in the morning, and he's standing out. Myrna's in my bedroom window, shouting through the window, you got to go on the radio. I finally said, my God, well, how do we stop him, Myrna? She said, just do the damn show.
I knew if you did a show on the station that I was buying, I just knew it was going to work, and I knew you didn't want to do it. It's a tremendous amount of time. It's not your business, but I knew that it would take off, and it did. It's a big reason for the success of our station, Joe, the reach that we have, the influence that we've got on the John Fredericks Show and WJFN in this area. Look, I'll tell you the other thing. I mean, you ran a bunch of ads on our network. Those were successful. The people that ran ads with us won. Those that didn't do as well, like Bob Thomas. I mean, this is just reality of the situation. But you've got a huge platform and a way, as now an elected official that cares about his constituents, a way to further connect with your constituents, get what's going on, and also provide them with transparency, which you're all about. I think this is such a unique opportunity that you've got, Joe, in Virginia, being you're going to go into state senate, and also with this radio show where every day you're going to be able to tell people exactly what's going on. Nobody else, no one else has that, Joe.
Well, a couple of comments. Number one, if you do media, whether it's radio, print, mail, etc., there's got to be a foundation underneath that people can say, oh, yeah, I recall the following. For example, I spent 139 out of 141 days campaigning, and I was through every ward in Petersburg. Now, folks said, how did you win that? Dance's home court, 72% to 28. 72 to 28. where she's been mayor, delegate, and senator for 30 years. It's because I went to every house. I said, what do you want to see done? Here's my opinion. Here's how I think we should do it. How does that work? But then the media, like on your show afterwards, that had people saying, oh, that's right, Joe was by here. And then I sent everybody a personal letter, handwritten letter saying, remember when I came by and we discussed this? That's the difference. So sometimes and I don't want to be waxing eloquently, but in America, you think you can take a pill that solves everything. You've got to have the foundation there, and the foundation was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles of trudging door to door, and then we came on WJFN Radio Network to emphasize that. So that's the I think the combination. And then next thing, going in there, John, do you have any idea how cathartic it is to not owe anybody anything, to be able to go and not have any special interest that you have to repay, like the VEA, like the realtors, anybody like that? It's very liberating, and it makes me able to go in and just vote for bills that will make Virginians and the residents of the 16th Senate District have better lives. I don't want to be too mushy, but it's a wonderful feeling.
You're a free agent for the constituents of the 16th District and for Virginia. Let me just outline this, everybody, and I know I've said it 100 times. Joe was shunned by everybody. The Republicans, the Democrats, they all lined up against him when he ran for mayor. It was one of the most disgusting things I ever saw. And every moneyed interest lined up against him. They all wanted him out, and they were able to defeat him. They couldn't do it this time because he had the strength of the people behind him, and they never saw it coming. That was the other thing.
Hold on.
But
one thing, John. Let me just say this: I led that mayoral campaign.
That's right.
For 10 months,
That's
and at
right.
the end, it was 2 weeks of solid fake news regarding that woman. Completely false. And let me be very clear. I didn't, I'm a good Catholic boy, and I turned the other cheek. But there's a $10 million lawsuit pending because what was done in those final 2 weeks, the fake news that was disseminated, that fake story, that's going to come out again. Some people said, "Oh, Joe, let that sleeping dog lie." No. Bad things happen when good people do nothing, and I'm going to get a hearing, and we're going to show the magnitude of that fake news disseminated by the RTD in the last and those people that aligned against me in those last 10 days. Or just come out and admit that you made a mistake, apologize, and I'll give $1 million to the charity of my choice. I'll do that too.
Well, Joe, the irony of this thing is you're obviously, like you just said, you're completely unencumbered. You owe nobody anything except the voters of the 16th District. I just want to run through some of these numbers because they're stunning. They're stunning, folks. Joe Morrissey in Petersburg. Now, Petersburg is where Roz Dance lives. This is her hometown. She was mayor here. Roz Dance has been here for 30 years, right? Morrissey got 78% in Petersburg. He got 78% of the vote. I mean, if I put
John, 72%.
I'm sorry, 72% of the vote. He beat her 72-28. 72 is almost 73%. Look, if I put Sammy the cat on the ballot and sent a picture of my cat out and put her on the ballot in Petersburg, you'd get 15% just because he's so damn cute. I mean, Joe got 72% in her hometown. He buried her. I mean, this is a grassroots movement of people that are sick and tired of politicians going there just to get reelected, taking their vote for granted and not doing crap. And I tell you what, it could be a crucible. It could be a inkling of things to come in big cities. I just had Sheriff Clark on who was talking about the atrocities, Joe, going on in Chicago right now. 10 people being shot a weekend, 50 wounded. It's out of control. They can't do anything. Same politicians up there, not accountable, don't do crap. This could be something. But I'll tell you the other thing. I think the Senate is going to end in a 2020 tie in Virginia. That's what I believe. And if it's a 2020 tie, Joe, you basically are going to decide every important vote in Virginia. And everybody knows that when you make that decision, it's going to be with only one thing in mind, and that's your constituents and the people whom you serve. Is that heartening or what? Is that? I mean, you can't get more excited.
It is beyond heartening. Yes, it is, John. And let me say this. Let me make this message loud, state this message loud and clear. That 72% victory in Petersburg, I do not walk away thinking for 1 second, oh, Joe, look at you. Aren't you great? You got 72% in Roz's home court. Now, I am mindful what the people said, and that is it was just as much they're saying, we don't want our politicians simply going to Richmond and going to parties and festivals and showboating. Get the work done. That's why I took pride, John. You coined the phrase "Pothole Joe." I don't know if you were being cheeky or not when you said that, but I took that moniker with great pride, and so that's the message here. People expect you to go there and work. Rosdan said in a Washington Post expose when a woman said to her, "I need you to fix my sidewalks," she was quoted in the Washington Post, "That's not my job." Well, let me tell you something, John. That is my job. Mm-hmm. That's exactly my job to help the constituents. So that's what I'm going for. You know me, John. I am a worker bee. Okay, there's nothing, that beneath me that's for staff. No, sir. That's for me to do. It's for me to provide that constituent service. So I want you to know that big vote, 72-28. Listen, I know what the message is being sent, okay? And I get it. And that's why when I was campaigning for these last 4.5 months, I knew that's what the people were thinking. And because I was knocking on their doors. You know how many thousands of doors I knocked on and then wrote them personal letters? But all the pundits said, oh, he's not going to win. He can't do it. They had no basis for saying that. This is a victory, not for me, not for my family. It's not redemption. It's for the people that's saying, listen to us, not the party elites. Okay, that's it. That's the end of my ravings.
It's a beautiful thing, and it's a victory for the people. It's what I said from the beginning. It's a victory for the people. This isn't about left wing or right wing or this wing or that wing or progressives versus. It's a victory for the people. It's a victory for the grassroots. It proves that you can get out there, you can knock on doors, you can go local, and you can get the support of people, and you can win. That's what this is about. It's about truth to power. Truth to power. And I just got a text here from Pete Snyder, Republican activist, Northern Virginia. And Pete Snyder just said, he said, Joe is the most powerful person in Virginia politics. What do you say to that, Joe?
Well, I am. That's for other people to say that. I am a. If elected in November, I will be one voice. But here's the difference. Here is the difference. I am the voice for not just my folks in the 16th Senate District, but remember what Governor Northam said when he was elected in 2017. He said it. I actually believe it. I'm not going to Richmond as a Democrat or a Republican. I am going there as a Virginian. That's what he told people. They don't do that. They go there as, beholden to the party. I was the guy that was critical of my Democratic Party. I go there as a Virginian first and foremost. And if you want to know what I'm going to do in January of 2020, just remember that. I'm going there as a Virginian to do what's best for Virginia.
Joe, it's going to be quite a wild ride, and I want to thank you for doing your radio show on my network. And I tell you what, man, if you want to get the word out, you got to go on Joe Morrissey show, advertise with him. You got anything you want to be able to do. He's got a huge base. He's got a tremendous following. He's on today at 10 a.m., 10 to noon on WJFN, 100.FM, Richmond, Goochland.
Do you have the authority to allow me to send a thank you out to
Yes.
some people?
Yes.
Listen, at the end of the day, the best part of my life are Myrna and the 4 kids.
Mm-hmm.
It is what they are. My heart. It's what I said one time during this campaign. I want their lives to be incredible. I want the lives, the children, the grandchildren of the folks in my district to be incredible. But Bella and Chase and Kennedy and Maverick and Myrna, they are my life, okay? And, we're good, John. Remember all the scandals and everything? Every night I'd go home and Myrna and I would look at our beautiful children. And I'm not trying to be, mushy again, but there was no scandal. There was no embarrassment. That we were together, and there's lots of laughter and love. And I could not have done this campaign without those little children and Myrna's support. So thank you, guys. You're not listening. Myrna's off doing something. The kids are in school, but that's the one final thank you I want to send out.
Well, Joe, thank you for doing that, and those of us like myself and Ann that have had the pleasure of being around your family and going into your home, there's nothing there but fun, love, and laughter. And so for the people that have criticized that, that's their problem, not yours. Joe, thank you.
Bye, man. Thanks. All the best.